Design shapes the world around us. The chair you're sitting on while watching this was carefully thought out by a designer. The same goes with the table where your smartphone is right now. Some designs are just so ingenious we can't help but be mesmerized by them. From simple to complex, let's have a look at some of them. Do you organize your bookshelf by genre, alphabetical order, or the color of book covers? I think alphabetical order gives your house a library vibe to it, even if you use these small branched shelves. Usually, authors only put their last names on the book spine to make it easier for users to locate the book. But the designer of this Ray Bradbury book had a clever idea. He noticed that the name Ray is contained by the last name Bradbury and painted the letter R, A, and Y in different colors on the spine. This way, both the first and last name of the author are highlighted. What do you say? Yay or nay? And speaking of books, this George Orwell work has sold over 4 million copies. The famous 1984 story tells a tale of surveillance and the creepiness of being constantly watched by a so-called Big Brother. I'd say this cover pretty much nails the content of the book in a genius way, and it even references literature as a medium with the use of semicolons. Way to go to this designer! If you haven't been living under a rock, you've heard once or twice about Van Gogh's story. No need to retell it here. Apparently, this designer that was showcased at the gift shop of a Van Gogh immersive experience got inspired by the artist's story. I mean, look at this set of mugs. Would you give this to your beloved so that one of you can be the ear and the other the bandage? I'm not so sure if you ask me. I think I prefer just a regular Van Gogh mug with his face on it. What do clocks make you think of? Perhaps your mind goes straight to your grandma's cuckoo clock like mine does. I'd never say Bruce Lee would be a good idea for a clock. This designer thought legs plus Bruce Lee plus elasticity equals clockwork. Just kidding. I mean, it works for certain timestamps, but not all. Definitely not all. Design can also be used as a tool for raising awareness. There are so many examples of great marketing campaigns, but I'd say this one was pretty ingenious. Take a look at it before I give you any context. Can you guess what it's raising awareness for? Do the repeating first syllables give you any hints? This was an ad to fight discrimination against people who stutter, made by the Dutch Stutter Foundation in 2021. Neat, huh? In the queue for the Best Billboard Award is this piece of advertisement for BBC's adaptation of Dracula. You know what they say, vampires don't like to appear in broad daylight. So these designers used natural light in their favor. As the sun goes down and the moon shines in the sky, we begin to see a shadow forming. And you guessed it, the shade of Dracula's face appears. I mean, wow! Shopping for stationery brings out the inner child in all of us. Pens, pencils, erasers, we love them. But what about this designer's idea to turn a regular eraser into Mount Fuji? The best part is that it's interactive. If you only use the sides, your eraser will turn into this beautiful mountain in no time. I know you have to be smart to play chess, but this designer edition set makes it seem even more difficult. In 1923, designer Joseph Hartwig came up with the Bauhaus chess set. Here, no horse looks like a horse and no queen is wearing a crown. Instead, the wooden pieces were designed to showcase the directions they can move in during a game. It's not 100% accurate though. Pawns can only move forward, and they're represented by a rectangle. What's that supposed to mean? We're entering the age of smart stuff. Smart TVs, smart cars, and refrigerators. But this is the first time we've seen a smart business card. If you're a divorce lawyer, maybe follow this guy's idea. Prefabricate your card in such a way that you can already split it in half. Half for one spouse and half for another. And both parts still have your phone numbers on them, just to make sure you'll get one of them to be your client. In a certain gallery, there's a skate shop that is next to a steak shop. I'm unsure who thought of this solution, but it kinda works. It's a meaty skateboard. Sure, it's weird. But kudos to whoever dared to even think of this. Okay, so help me out here. Is there such a thing as a bad design? And would you say this street sign qualifies as an example? Users seem to think it's too visually polluted. Others didn't even understand what it was advocating for. It's a pro-bike sign, by the way. I have to say, I like this person's idea, but in practice, I'd say it didn't work. Impressionism was a period of art history where painters used soft brushstrokes to depict their subjects. Looking at it from a distance, you might think it's a bit pixelated, but this eyewear brand took this idea to another level. Apparently, if you use their glasses, you'll see paintings through a whole new lens. Clever, huh? And speaking of art, I'd say it probably took the designer of this poster a while to create this one. Everything, Everywhere, and All at Once is one of those movies that makes your brain work hard to follow the plot, and the characters, and all the colors. I'd say this designer managed to bring the essence of the movie to life. What about you? Okay, so only a few things are more boring than drain pipes. Aesthetically, of course. Their design is usually simple and repetitive, except that during the 19th century, architects were probably addicted to dragons. So, they made a bunch of buildings with drain pipes like this. You'll see a lot of this if you're visiting France. And I have to say, they're awesome. Harry Potter fans, how do you feel about a night lamp in the shape of the Hogwarts crest that comes with a remote control wand? I think my favorite part is the wand. I always wanted one of those. Way to go to whoever came up with this ingenious idea. A knife holder that looks like a white shark ready to attack its prey. Yep, this exists, and it's pretty clever. I mean, the knives coordinate perfectly to look like a shark's open jaw. Plus, the design is cute. It's a yay for me. If you've loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers before, you'll love them even more now. Their logo is a famous red star, as you may know. And apparently, for their concert in Perth, Australia, the ticket included transportation to and from the concert venue. So the designer used the red star symbol as roads to advertise this piece of information. One of those lovely cases where art and music meet real life and rock it. One of the basic rules of marketing is, you gotta know your public. I'm guessing this mattress ad wouldn't work just about anywhere in the world, but boy does it fit perfectly in Colorado. In case you didn't catch the reference, fresh snow is often called powder snow, and you have to have a good night's sleep to enjoy that. In a galaxy far, far away, just kidding. In our very own galaxy, Volkswagen invented one of the most beloved cars of all time, the Beetle. And who knew this version looks exactly like Darth Vader? Poor Luke though, he'll have to keep seeing his father's face everywhere. So, do you know any other genius designs we haven't shown here? Do tell!
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side. Okay, it's time to check how sleuthy you are. And I have a couple of riddles for you to crack, like a walnut. Here's the first one. Detective Callum is the best detective in town who has caught many criminals. Of course, some people don't like him, so he must be mindful. One day, he ordered his usual pack of donuts, which he eats when he thinks about twisted cases. Half an hour later, the doorbell rang, and there were 2 packs of donuts delivered. One of them must be poisoned, but which one? Look, this box is the same as the empty donut boxes in his office, which he always orders. So this box must be safe. But the other delivered box is very suspicious. I wouldn't eat that. Sophie has everything in particular places in her bedroom, but she is the only person who knows what is where. Quinn, Sophie's sister, asks Sophie to lend her a necklace for a party. The necklace was safely stored in a little box, but the box was hidden. So Sophie drew a map for Quinn to help her find it. Can you help Quinn to find the right box? The note is basically a map of Sophie's room. You just have to find the object she drew. Following the pattern, here's a box. The necklace must be there. Nova is taking piano lessons, but she doesn't like them. Her mother insists on her playing a musical instrument and makes her practice every day. During the summer holidays, Nova's mom went on a 2-week-long business trip and instructed her daughter to practice daily. The girl agreed, but in fact, she never even opened the piano during that time. When Mrs. Adams returned and Nova told her that she had been practicing, her mother didn't believe her. Why not? The piano's cover is dusty, which means it's been a while since Nova opened it the last time. Do you think you know countries well? Let's see.
Yay!
I'll show you several famous landmarks, and your task is to guess which country it belongs to. Okay? Let's start out easy. What do you say here? Of course, this is Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, from New York City, New York. Great job! This one is easy peasy too. What do you say? It's the Eiffel Tower from Paris, France. These are one of the most ancient structures in the modern world. Can you name and locate them? These are the Pyramids of Giza, located in Egypt. Here's the next one. Can you locate it properly? This is Sydney Opera House from Sydney, Australia. Did you get it right? Another famous landmark, Machu Picchu. But where is it located? Do you remember? This beautiful landmark belongs in Peru. Gabriella is an archaeologist who explores the old ruins of Greece. One day, as she was working, she walked through a tunnel, but at the end of it, there was just a dead end.
Oh no!
Luckily, there were 3 doors, but only one of them would lead her out of the tunnel. There is a sign with 3 hints. One of the statements is wrong. Which door should Gabriella pick? 1. Door 2 will not lead you to freedom. 2. Door 1 or 3 will lead you to freedom. 3. Door 1 or 2 will lead you to freedom. One of the statements is wrong. If the wrong one is the first statement, then door 2 is the one Gabriella needs. But then the second statement is wrong too. If statement 2 is wrong, then door 2 is the one leading to freedom. But then the first statement is wrong too. If statement 3 is wrong, then door 3 is the one Gabriella needs. In this case, the other 2 statements are correct as well. So, door 3 it is. Mr. Morris is a landlord of an apartment building with a no pets policy. None of the residents are allowed to have any kind of pets. One resident reported that they have been hearing a cat in one of the neighboring apartments. Look at these 2 apartments. In which one of them does a cat live? Look, in this apartment, the walls and sofa are scratched on the bottom. These aren't human traces, so the cat must be living here. Several months later, there was another complaint. This time, someone heard a dog. Mr. Morris inspected 2 neighboring apartments again, looking for traces. In which apartment does a dog live? It must be this apartment. Look, the resident forgot to hide the dog leash. Okay, let's get back and locate a couple of more landmarks. What's the home country of the Taj Mahal? Taj Mahal is located in Agra, India. Okay, what is this, and where do you think it is? It's the Great Wall of China, located in, well, I think China would be the safe bet. Can you recognize this construction? What country can you find it in? It's the Colosseum from Rome, Italy. Maeve needs to log into her mom's laptop to delete the file she accidentally sent her. She doesn't know the passcode, but her mom always leaves notes with passcodes around in case she forgets it herself. Here is the only note Maeve could find. Can you help her guess the passcode? The key is to count the number of figures on each picture. There is one circle, so the first digit is 1. There are 4 big triangles, but they form 3 more little triangles, so the second digit is 7. Then 3 squares and 2 circles. The passcode is 1732. Another day, another passcode to crack. 1 week later, Maeve needed to get into her mom's computer again, this time to delete the email with her not-so-good grades. The previous passcode didn't work. Her mom had already changed it. But here is a new note with the new hints. These are the names of Maeve's family members. But what are the digits? The first name and the digit next to it give a hint on how to crack it. It's Maeve's name, and the number 5 must indicate the number of letters in it. So, other digits are the numbers of letters in other names. So, 5 for Maeve, 8 for Virginia, 4 for John, and 6 for Oliver. Nicole hosted a party in honor of her cat's birthday, and she invited several friends over. Karis didn't want to go there because she wanted a free evening to play her new video game. So she lied that her mom had grounded her and made her clean the room. To make it up to her best friend, the next day Karis invited Nicole for a movie night. When Nicole arrived, she understood that Karis had made an excuse not to go to the party. How did she figure it out? Look, Karis's room is a total mess. If her mom forced her to clean it the previous night, it'd be way neater. Arden is on an expedition in a winter forest, and she got lost. Her devices froze, and she didn't know where to go, so she was walking straight, hoping to see something familiar. But then, she came across 3 ways, all of which seemed dangerous. The way straight goes past the cave where a huge brown bear is sleeping. The road on the left goes through the place where a pack of hungry wolves live. The right road will lead her to the lake with thin ice. Which way should Arden go? She should go straight and keep quiet. The bear is sleeping and most probably won't even wake up unless she makes too much of a noise. And a few more of these. This is the Acropolis, but where is it from? The Acropolis is located in Athens, Greece. This is a famous castle. Do you know where it is? The one and only Neuschwanstein Castle is nowhere else but in Germany. The last one of those for today. You've got this. Can you locate this landmark? It's Stonehenge, and it's in Wiltshire, England. Hey, good work! That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.
Let's take a good look at this rainbow. How many colors can you see? I guess most of you will answer 7. First, we have red and orange, then yellow, green, and blue. And to top it off, indigo and violet. I hate to break it to you though, but there aren't actually 7 colors in a rainbow. The correct amount would be infinite. Our eyes just can't perceive all of them, only the 7 main ones. How our brain perceives color is one of the most interesting scientific mysteries. So, how about we go deeper into the science behind it all? Rainbows are great examples, but to understand how they happen, we have to talk about the sun. Well, we have to talk about light and wavelengths. Thanks to Isaac Newton, people understood that white light contains all of the wavelengths of the color spectrum. Let some white light pass through a chunk of glass and you'll get a rainbow refracted on the other side. Yeah, very much like that famous Pink Floyd album cover we know and love. If you want to try something similar at home, here's what you can do. Grab a glass of water and put a mirror inside. Now, grab a flashlight and point it at the mirror diagonally. The white light from the flashlight will hit the mirror, refract, and disperse into the 7 colors of the rainbow. If you look at the ceiling, you'll likely see a rainbow that has just formed there. Isaac Newton's experiment proved that a color is just a wavelength of electromagnetic radiation. Have I just complicated things more instead of clarifying them? These big words may sound scary, but the concept is actually quite simple. For instance, radio waves are another example of electromagnetic radiation. X-rays obviously are an example of that too. Our eyes just can't perceive the wavelength of these phenomena. Imagine if you could see radio news flying by while you were trying to get some work done. It's best we can't see it all, that's for sure. But our eyes can and do perceive color wavelengths. For instance, violet has the lowest wavelength, about 380 nanometers. And red has the longest wavelength of them all, up to 740 nanometers. Yet, if it was that simple, then optical illusions wouldn't really exist. Our eyes play tricks on us and make us see things differently than they are in reality. We all remember the blue dress versus white dress hullabaloo, don't we? Take a look at this image. It seems like there's a moving square that's changing colors, right? What shades do you see? Gray? Then pink? It might look that way, but in reality, the square doesn't change color at all. The creator of this illusion is Japanese psychologist and artist Akiyoshi Kitaoka. According to him, what we perceive as different colors is our brain trying to predict the color of the square in relation to its surroundings. Let's review some eye anatomy real quick. At the back of your eye, in the retina, there are special photoreceptor cells called cones. These cones are the ones that absorb photons, tiny units of light. This process only helps us see something because the cones send electrical impulses down our optic nerves, which are an extension of our nervous system. You know, that fabric of spider-like neurons that communicates with one another electrically and makes us humans live, breathe, and think. Now, I've mentioned that there are infinite colors in the color spectrum, right? But people don't have an infinite amount of different cones to perceive all those unique shades. We perceive color with the help of just 3 different types of cones. Here's how it works. Each cone is responsible for absorbing different wavelengths of light. Like 3 brothers that decided to work together, each one is responsible for its own visual function. One cone is in charge of longer wavelengths, so it's known as L. This buddy is sensitive to the more reddish colors of the spectrum, including yellow, a bit of green, and no blue at all. This means that if you're in the jungle looking at a macaw, the L cone will help you see most of the bird, but it'll need a little help from its brother S. S is the one part that's sensitive to shorter wavelengths. That's the bluish part of the spectrum. Together with M, the third cone, your eyes and brain will perceive all of the colors of the macaw. Some people are born without all 3 cones. This is called color blindness. The most common color blindness is the inability to distinguish between red and green. But then, There are also people born without the ability to distinguish the colors from the blue-yellow cone. Take a look at this image. Is there anything inside the dotted circle? If you've managed to distinguish the number 74, that means you've got all 3 cones. Sometimes, though, our eyes and brain get confused. Even if our brain is like a highly technological machine, some signals get entangled, and this creates gaps, loopholes. Neuroscientists say that 40% of our brain is involved in vision. So when you look at something like this bouncing beach ball right here, signals are sent to over 30 areas of your brain. Each area is responsible for processing a different thing. Color is just one of them. You also need to be able to detect motion and shape, but that's stuff for another video. A lot of our perception of color has to do with our memories. Let's revise a bit. Our brain is like a highly technological machine. Check. It serves as a database where we keep memories and registries of stuff, like banana is yellow. Check. Check. Why am I telling you this? Because usually we see stuff in different lighting. For instance, take a look at this studio image of a banana. Now, take a look at this banana at twilight when the lighting is dim. The banana changes its color, but we perceive it as yellow because we remember that a banana is yellow. Lighting was probably the reason why some people saw that infamous dress as white and others saw it as blue. Let's look at the science behind it. Pascal Wallish, a neuroscientist at New York University, conducted an online survey with 13,000 people trying to crack the white dress, blue dress mystery. And he found out something absurdly surprising. The study showed that the difference between the two groups of people was linked to the time they fell asleep and woke up. Night owls, or people who like sleeping and waking up late, were more likely to see the dress as black and blue, while larks, aka early birds, were more likely to see it as white and gold. Why are these things connected, you might ask? Early birds are people that spend more time in daylight than night owls, so when they look at that poorly lit photo, they perceive it in the way that they're used to seeing things on a daily basis. In this case, they're used to seeing things bathed in sunlight, so they assume that that's what illuminates the dress. As a result, they perceive the dress as white and gold. The same happens with those who see it as blue and black. The main difference is that these people are used to artificial light, since most of their waking hours happen during the night. Crazy, huh? We looked at a lot of complex concepts today, but does it explain why an apple is often red and an orange is orange? Well, if you're able to perceive an apple as red or a grape as purple, that's because that color is the only one that is being reflected by the object. It happens like this. White light, which contains all colors, hits an apple. The apple absorbs all color wavelengths, except red. Let's say the apple rejects the color red. It reflects it outward. And that's what our eyes perceive. Cool, huh?
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.